President Uhuru Kenyatta has finally succeeded in taking control of Jubilee Party from the grip of his deputy William Samoei Ruto. If you follow the politics of this country, you'll realize that there are several changes which have been effected in Jubilee Party meant to weaken the grip of the DP and to strengthen the grip of the president in that party. And the president has also succeeded in taking control of the Senate and Parliament. Because again, for a long time, most Kenyans had always believed that the deputy president was controlling the Senate and was also controlling Parliament. And the president took control of that by taking charge, by disapproving the numbers, by kicking out people like Kipchumba Murkomen, Susan Kihika, electing a new deputy speaker. So the president is now fully charged of the parliament, which was under the grip of his deputy. And from what I've observed now, the president is now keen on taking control, full control of Mount Kenya politics. Because again, in Mount Kenya politics, the deputy president had a grip. And for those who've been following the politics of this country very closely, in November last year, President Uhuru Kenyatta convened a meeting with Mount Kenya leaders at the Sagana State Lodge. And during that meeting, the president basically wanted to listen to the complaints of the leaders. He wanted to listen to what their views were, because there was a problem in the larger Mount Kenya region. The deputy president was controlling Mount Kenya region, and the president was coming out as someone who had actually failed to deliver to those people. And after that meeting, immediately, the allies of the deputy president convened another meeting to counter that meeting in Embu. And there are reports that President Uhuru Kenyatta is set to begin a tour of Mount Kenya region, beginning with Meru. So today I want us to look at that tour of Mount Kenya region, what the president actually intends to achieve, and how he wants to confirm that he's still the leader by kicking out the deputy president out of Mount Kenya in question. But before you do that, if you are watching this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this one, you get notified. Now back to the main issue. If you've been following the politics of this country, in March 2018, over 2 years ago now, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga had the handshake. And after that handshake, these two brothers were expected to embark on a nationwide tour of this country. Those tours never took off. Why? Because the president was sabotaged in his own backyard. As a matter of fact, the president and Raila Odinga were able to tour Nasa stronghold. They were able to tour Nyanza together. They were able to tour Western together. They were able to tour Coast together. But not Western, not Central, not Central. They were not able to tour Rift Valley. And those were the strongholds of Jubilee Party. And I remember at some point, NASA supporters were even questioning whether the president was honest or he was dishonest, because probably they thought that the president just wanted to use the handshake to actually penetrate the NASA stronghold, places where he could not go to. But the president is now keen on starting that tour again. Accompanied with Raila Odinga, they are going to embark on a tour of Mount Kenya region. And that tour is going to begin with Meru. And why Meru? What's the political significance of beginning that tour with Meru? If you live in this country, you should have noted that Meru hosted the Mount Kenya consultative meeting. The Building Bridges Initiative meeting for the Mount Kenya region was hosted in Meru. You also remember that there was chaos during that BBI rally in Meru when Kipchumba Murkomen and Moses Kuria staged a walkout during that rally. Then you should also note that the president recently kicked out Kithure Kindiki. He comes from Meru region. So why would the president then still go to that Meru region. Then you must also remember that one of the key opponents of the deputy president comes from Meru, Peter Munya. Peter Munya believes up to now that he was rigged out by the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. And personally, up to now, I still don't understand why the president still went and picked Peter Munya and appointed him a cabinet minister. Probably there's something that the president wanted to achieve by that appointment, which probably the DP had not known by that time. But why is this meeting, this tour of the president in central Kenya or Mount Kenya region going to be significant? Remember, already the allies of the deputy president are already being subdued in the larger Mount Kenya region. We saw the Laikipia women rep Uhuru, who was a staunch supporter of the DP, defecting. We saw the Laikipia North Member of Parliament, Sarah Korere, decamping to the president's camp. We saw the 3 members of parliament from Kirinyaga decamping from William Ruto's camp. We've seen the supporters of the DP, most of them taking now low profile, apart from the few like Ndindi Nyoro, Moses Kuria, and Madira Member of Parliament. Even Alice Wahome has cooled down a bit. But why is this meeting so important, politically speaking? In my view, the president wants to achieve the following. Number 1 is the Building Bridges Initiative. That's all. The Building Bridges Initiative has not really been picked up so well in Mount Kenya region. And I don't know the interest the president has in that Building Bridges Initiative. But for a fact, it's one thing that is dear to the president. Raila Odinga has been the face of the Building Bridges Initiative campaigns in the entire country. The president has always taken a low profile. So the president is going to go to Meru and is going to tell them something about the Building Bridges Initiative. Remember, he was in Nakuru and he told the people of Nakuru that the interest of Mount Kenya region is in the Building Bridges Initiative. So probably for the first time, the president is going to start explaining to the people of Mount Kenya region why they need to support the Building Bridges Initiative. So that's number 1. Number 2 is development project. Now I want to take you back to the Sagana meeting. During that Sagana meeting, the leaders blamed President Uhuru Kenyatta for not doing much for the region. And the president, in his own wisdom, said, okay, if that's the case, okay. And earlier, the president actually stopped launching of projects in that region. Remember, the deputy president would take his time, go to Meru, for example, launch a project, even without considering whether the money was available for those projects. And he did this mostly in central Kenya, and I think in Kisii. And some of those projects were stalled up to now. So the president decided in his executive order number 1 of 2019 to appoint Fred Okengo Matiang'i as the supervisor of all cabinet ministers. So it meant that if you wanted to construct a road, then it has to come through Fred Okengo Matiang'i. And that's explained why Matiang'i was in Meru early this week to tour those projects. So they made sure, the president made sure that all stalled projects were completed. So you cannot go to Mount Kenya region and tell them all these projects were stalled. I've not completed them. And because we didn't launch new projects which are fake, now we can now start launching new projects. So I think that's one thing that the president is going to do. Number 3 is the handshake. The handshake has not been embraced fully in central Kenya. Why? Because of the deputy president. The deputy president, being a politician, and in my view, I agree with him fully. Politics is about interest. He knew that when Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta had the handshake, it's going to give Raila Odinga an opportunity to move freely in central Kenya and the larger Mount Kenya region. I know for sure that Raila Odinga has support in those regions, whether they are 10% or 15%. But the ground has always been hostile for him in the last 15 years, apart from the first time he campaigned for Mwai Kibaki. So the deputy president knew that. So the president also has not managed to go down there to explain to these people why he entered into the handshake. The president has always just been very bitter, angry with anybody from central Kenya. And in fact, at some point, it was being claimed that whenever the president is outside central Kenya, he's very happy. And when he's in central Kenya, he was very angry. So because the president was angry, the president was bitter, probably with the kind of treatment he was getting from the members of parliament, the president has now decided to use this opportunity to sell or to explain to the people why he entered into that handshake. Because of course, the ground has already started shifting in his favor. Number 4 is Jubilee politics. Jubilee politics. The president has successfully managed to take control of Jubilee party at the national level. So Jubilee headquarters is now President Uhuru Kenyatta and his people. What about the ground? Is the ground still hostile to him? And if the ground is hostile to him, what next? Probably the president is going to explain to the people there why Jubilee as a political party must remain united, must remain strong, and that is going to be fully in charge of that party. So I don't know what he's going to tell them about the 2020 general election when it comes to Jubilee party, because from all indications, the deputy president still enjoys a lot of support in that region. They expect the president to actually support him in 2022. But from indications, the president might not do that, although the president, to his credit, has also not said that he's not going to support his deputy. And lastly, I think the president is going to affirm himself as the de facto leader of Central Kenya. And lastly, I think the president is also going to use the opportunity during that tour to affirm that he's still the leader in Central Kenya. So far, there's Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria is trying to challenge the president. There is Ndindi Nyoro. Ndindi Nyoro is challenging the president. Alice Wahome has been doing that. You go to Madeira, a guy who was just his personal assistant is now challenging the president. So I think the president is just going to go to the region and confirm to everybody who cares that he's still the boss when it comes to Central Kenya politics, when it comes to the larger Mount Kenya politics. But how the president is going to be received during this tour is something which I still don't know. And I know for sure it's going to go with Raila Odinga. But how is Raila Odinga going to be received? We still don't know. Probably we'll have to wait for the first rally to see how they are going to be received. And that's my take. And by the way, my next video, for those who were here yesterday, I asked a question whether the president actually betrayed Anne Waiguru. And the feedback I got from that video were amazing. And it seems there's something which people are also raising up. That probably President Uhuru Kenyatta is using Anne Waiguru, is likely to sacrifice Anne Waiguru, so that when the time comes for the DP to be impeached, then people will not say, oh, the DP is being targeted, because already Anne Waiguru has gone. So there's this talk that probably Anne Waiguru's impeachment is a message to the deputy president and to Kenyans in general that nobody is going to be spared. That's going to be my next video. I've started getting ideas. If you have any idea on that, please drop them. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.